Hi. Um, I don't know. I don't know if you know David Wood, but he's he's one of the. I think I'll say it. He's the greatest Islam exposer on the internet because he gets the most views. Now, Christian Prince is the most knowledgeable, you know, but he doesn't get the views like David Wood. David Wood. I always had a thing in my heart for Christian Prince because he's my very first Islam teacher on the internet, going back to 2007. I used to be on his website called MuhammadTube, where I'd upload videos and stuff that question Muslims about Islam. But I tell you, David Wood, he's an amazing guy. He's brilliant. He's supposedly a psychopath. But if you listen to his past, I think I can see why he might have, become a psychopath. But anyway, his favorite Quran verse is surah. Uh, it's Surah 33, verse 53, because he thinks it's funny. Because in it, well, I'll read it to you, and you'll see why he thinks it's funny. It says, "Do you believe?" It says, "Oh, you who believe, enter not the prophet's house unless permission is given to you for a meal." And then is add, not so early as to wait for its preparation. But when you are invited, enter, and when you have taken your meal, disperse without sitting for a talk. Verily, such behavior annoys the prophet, and he is shy of asking you to go. But Allah is not shy of telling you the truth. It is funny. And when you ask his wives or anything you want, ask them from behind a screen. That is pure for your hearts and for their hearts. And it is not right for you that you should annoy Allah's messenger, nor that you should ever marry his wives after him. That is after his death. Verily, with Allah, that shall be an enormity. Here's this eternal tablet. And you have it talking about don't annoy Muhammad in it. It's very apparent that Allah is a sock puppet of Muhammad for having that in the stupid Quran. But anyway, that is funny. But to me, the funniest passage in the Quran, for me, that I tell you, that is funny. But this is the funniest one. It's Surah 34, verse 14. Because according to Quran 34, verse 14, Solomon stood up dead, propped up on his staff so long that it allowed time for a termite or a worm, depending on the interpretation of the Quran, to eat away his staff, causing him to fall, causing his dead body to fall. Yet the funny thing here is that no one knew he was dead until a termite or worm ate away his staff, caused him to fall. In other words, he was standing dead so long, it gave time for a termite or worm to eat away his staff, and then cause him to fall. And then, only then, do people realize that he's been standing dead for so long. They don't realize he's dead until his body falls down from the staff giving out. That, to me, is comic genius. It is just so absurdly funny. And that made it into the Quran. To the Quran. If you don't believe me, I'll give you different versions of it. Here's how it sounds in Islam Awakened. The way it really sounds. There's no mention of termite or worm. It just says this. Then when we, that's all that talking, I like to say we, even though shirk is the worst of sins, believing that Allah has a partner. Though we decree decreed for him, Solomon, the death, not indicated to them on his death, except a creature of the earth eating his staff. But when he fell down, became clear to the jinn that if they had known the unseen, not they would have remained in the punishment humiliating. That really sounds bad. But Assad, Pickthall, Yusuf Ali, Shakir, T.B. Irving, and the quote Clear Quran by Dr. Mustafa Kitab, they make it clear. They do it right here. But this is how it really sounds, according to Muhammad Assad's version of the Quran. It says, "Yet even Solomon had to die. But when we, Allah, decreed that he should die, nothing showed them, the people, that he was dead except an earthworm that gnawed away his staff. And when he fell to the ground, those invisible beings, subservient to him, that'd be the jinn, saw clearly that, had they but understood the reality, which was beyond the reach of their perception, that they would not have continued to toil in the shameful suffering or servitude." Doesn't it sound beautiful to you? No, it goes to show you that they're really stupid to not know that he was dead and standing dead long enough for an earthworm to eat away his staff. It has nothing to do with unseen or not. I'll read on here. This is the Pickthall version. Okay, this is the Pickthall version. "And when we," that's all again, "decreed death for him, Solomon, nothing showed his death to them save, that means except a creeping creature of the earth which gnawed away his staff. And when he fell, the jinn saw clearly how, if they had known the unseen, they would not have continued in despised toil." In other words, if they knew that he was dead, they wouldn't have continued to... see, they're so stupid, and they didn't realize he was standing dead so long. They thought he was not dead, and they continued to work for nothing. That's what's coming down here. Okay, that's what I get from Pickthall. Now, this is the Yusuf Ali version. "Then, when we, Allah, decreed Solomon's death, nothing showed them his death." They didn't know he was dead. "Except a little worm of the earth, which kept slowly is added, gnawing away at his staff." In other words, he was standing dead for a long time, very long time, since it said slowly. "So when he fell down, the jinn saw plainly that if they had known the unseen..." What's that have to do with the unseen? No, and that's not the word they should use. It should be, saw plainly that if they had been smart and realized, hey, why isn't that guy moving? How come he's constantly standing there all these days and not moving? That's what the real question is here. Not that they've known the unseen. It's, how come this guy doesn't say anything? How come he keeps on standing there? And he's staying there so long that something's eating away his staff. It's not had they known the unseen. It's had they been smart. That's the word here. They would not have tarried in the humiliating penalty of their task. In other words, they would have kept on working for this guy because they would have known that he's dead. Okay, and the Yusuf Ali new one says the same thing. Shakir, this is what Shakir says of Quran 55 verse of Quran 34 verse 14. This is it. Shakir says, "But when we decree death for him, Solomon, not showed him his death, but a creature of the earth that ate away his staff. And when it fell down, the jinn came to know plainly that if they had known the unseen..." No, it's if they were smart. "They would have not tarried in abasing torment." There's nothing to do with the unseen here. Okay, this is Khan. What Khan says, Solomon was humiliating torment. Okay, It mentions a worm doing it, eating away his staff. Bakhtiar points out a moving creature of the earth. T.R. Irving, something from the earth. Now the clear Quran, Dr. Musa Khattab has it this way. When we decreed Solomon's death, nothing indicated to the subjected jinn that he was dead except the termites eating away his staff. So when he collapsed, the jinn realized that if they had really known the unseen, if they were smart, nothing to do with the unseen here, they would not have remained in such humiliating servitude. The thing that's so stupid, and what I find is the funniest thing about this, is the most comical and stupid thing in the Quran, is that Solomon died and no one knew he was dead. It's not just the jinn. Because if humans knew that he was dead, standing so long dead, they would thought. I mean, if he stood so long like that without moving, people think, "Wow, what's going on here? He's standing long enough for something to eat away his death. What's wrong?" They would have checked him out and found out he was dead. Has nothing to do with the unseen or whatever. This thing goes totally counter to human psychology. It goes to show you just how stupid and annoying Muhammad was of human psychology. I mean, if I saw someone standing, perched on his staff for days, to the point which would allow termites to eventually eat away his staff if they were, or a worm, I would be thinking, wow, how long can this guy stand totally motionless and not talk or anything? Is he dead, or is he in some kind of weird trance or something? It would make a lot of news, But they don't realize it's because he's dead. And only when he falls down do they realize, oh, he's dead. You see how comically stupid that is? This has got to be the funniest thing in the whole Quran, next to what David Wood thinks about how having people come and staying annoys the prophet, but Allah will let you know. That is funny. But this is something out of Monty Python. Some guy standing dead so long that it gives time for a termite or a worm to eat away his staff. And when he falls down, only then, oh my gosh, he's dead. That's not the unseen. That's had they been smart and observant, not how they'd known the unseen, they wouldn't have kept on tearing under this guy. That's what it comes down to. Very stupid scripture and very funny. But to me, it's the funniest thing in the whole Quran. But